So this game has been making its ways around Twitter the past few months, you know, since it came out back in, I think it was October when this game first got announced, or at least that's when I started hearing about it, you know, making its ways around Twitter and people started making videos about it because, you know, it did bring up a lot of controversy, which, you know what, to a certain extent, this game really didn't deserve the hate and the ridicule that it got from a lot of people on Twitter. But it doesn't surprise me because people on Twitter will get offended by just about anything. And the thing that I hate the most about a lot of the people on Twitter when it comes to them hating on something is that they won't even look into it. Now, we're obviously talking about the game, The Coffin of Andy and Leyley. Now, this game, like I said, it's been going around a lot, making a lot of controversy, and I say that all of it is unjustified. A lot of the people on Twitter that have hated this game, there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that none of them have even looked into the game itself or actually played the game or watched someone play it or even just seen some of the scenes or seen what the actual game is about. A lot of people got, you know, uproared about this because there is a scene in the game that implies incest where, you know, the main characters in the game, Andy and Leyley, are brother and sister, older brother and a younger sister. And there is a scene in the game where they do sleep together. And a lot of people just took that on Twitter and just saw that as them, the game itself, like implying that, you know, it's trying to promote incest in some kind of way. And a lot of people were hating on this game. You know, I couldn't find them myself, so I had to go like onto Google Images and I found some other people who have like taken screenshots and re-uploaded them of people hating on this game. This person says here, our game incest is bad and wrong. Play a game like TF2, Payday 2, etc. Porn addicts everywhere. Damn. Developer is based, because that's what a lot of people were saying. You are a porn addict. Okay, buddy. Is that the incest Kuma one? Talking about the game. Guna game for real. Is that meant to say Kuma? Like, these people can't even fucking spell half the time. Never wasting money on this shit. Isn't this game literally about incest? Now, what does my head in a lot is, like I've said, is that none of these people have probably ever played this game or even watched someone play it. I personally didn't play it myself, but I did watch Asmongold play through the whole entire thing because I was very interested to see, like, what was so bad about the game. And I'm going to say a few things about this game. The game in general is actually really fucking good. It's actually a really well, like, story. The gameplay of it itself, it's very simple. I remember we used to get a lot of like that style of gameplay like back in the day. Like I remember watching PewDiePie play a lot of those like a lot of games similar to Andy and Leyley, like with the top down, you know, where you just kind of walk around and just make decisions. And I used to see PewDiePie play a lot of like horror games that was similar to like that. But the story itself was good. The premise was good. And the thing about like that people don't get about the incest scene is that it's not promoting it in a good way. That is actually seen as a bad ending. Like that scene of when the brother and sister Andy and Leyley sleep together is seen as a bad scene. It's not meant to promote incest in any way whatsoever. And it's funny because like that to me personally, I don't even think that's the worst thing that you can do in the game. To me, the worst thing that happens in the game is when you eat your parents. I think that is 100% a lot worse because the incest scene is actually a dream, so it really doesn't actually like happen. And like I said, it's seen as a bad thing in the game. And the main character who you like, I would say that like Andy is the protagonist and Leyley is the antagonist, even though you play as both of them. That's how I would see the game as, because Leyley I always forget how to fucking pronounce it properly, but she is evil. Like, hands down, she is seen and promoted in the game as someone who is literally devil spawn. Like she was born and her parents looked at her and was like, she's evil. Like literally, her parents didn't want anything to do with her. They sent both of them out because obviously Leyley is like an evil one, and she's obviously like, you know, Andy's trying to be somewhat of a straight edge. You can tell in the game that he obviously has like, you know, some bad thoughts, and obviously he does a lot of things, but I feel like Leyley is really the one who's like pulling his strings and pulling him along and like pulling him towards making all of these bad decisions. And that's what the game seems as. It's not promoting any of these things in a bad way. And the thing to me is that, like, at the same time, it's like, yeah, the things that happen in the game are bad. One, it's not promoting them as a good thing. But two, at the same time, it's just a fucking game. It's just a game. It's not real. But obviously, people like to freak out about things so fucking much. And for once, I can't fucking believe that I'm saying these. These dickheads actually fucking won. These, like, deranged, just overly obsessed with just getting offended by everything people. And I've said so many times that I like Twitter. I love being on Twitter. I flick through Twitter so much, like, to get like ideas for videos about, like, if I see something stupid, or I love seeing, like, you know, dumb Twitter pages. Like, I made my video a couple days ago about that guy who's changing people's race from white to, like, see what they look like if they're black or Chinese. I just find stupid shit like that fucking hilarious. But I hate Twitter at the same time, because the people who, like, chronically live online just are absolutely deranged, and they get offended by every single little thing. And like I've already said, they've won. What do I mean by they've won? Well, here in Australia, the game is now banned. That's right. Here down in Australia, because I am Australian, I live in Australia, born here, lived here. The game is now banned. You cannot buy the game you cannot even access the Steam page itself. The game is completely removed from my region. Now, this isn't the first time that Australia has been overly censored, like censored games or banned games completely. Some notable ones in the past have been Hotline Miami 2 for a supposed rape scene that happens in the game. South Park: The Stick of Truth. A lot of countries actually blurred this scene. Australia being one of them. It's a scene where, like, your character, like the character that you play as, gets anal probed, which I think is fucking hilarious. That scene is completely censored from the game, not the game altogether. There is, like, a lot of other games that are completely removed, like Hotline Miami 2. You cannot buy it here in Australia. There's a lot of other games. South Park is just, like, one that's been censored. Also, another game that has been censored, and I wanted to make this one because I find this one so fucking ironic, is that this Witcher 2, which is like the Witcher series, is arguably one of the most critically acclaimed, like, trilogies or gaming series ever created. Witcher 1, 2, and 3 are some of, like, people say arguably some of the best games of all time. A lot of people would say Witcher 3 is one of the greatest games of all time. People would say it's like their top 5 greatest games ever. So this one I really wanted to think. But there is a side quest in the game where you can choose your reward as, like, as sex. So you can say, like, a reward's given to you. Do you want to take money or sex? Now, in Australia, in the side quest, you cannot choose to accept sex as a reward. You have to, or the game makes you automatically turn that down, because it's seen as, like, you know, insensitive in relations to incentives and rewards. Like, you know, you get sex as a reward. But I find that completely ironic. You want to know why? Because here in Australia, prostitution is illegal. So I can't accept sex as a reward in a video game, but I could go out and have you know, pay some woman legally to have sex with, because here, like I said, here in Australia, not in all states, but it's still illegal. It's only illegal in South Australia and Western Australia, but in Queensland, Tasmania, ACT, and here in Victoria, in New South Wales and Northern Territory, it's legal. Obviously, you know, New South Wales, Northern Territory, and Victoria, it's completely legal. Queensland, Tasmania, and our capital territory is, like, legalized in a limited extent, but here in Victoria, it's completely legal. There is so many, like, there is so many places in Melbourne that are, like, infamous. Like, one of the ones that I know, because it's near, like, where I used to work, is called Gotham. That's supposed to be, like, the high-end prostitution place that you would go to. Like, the place that I used to work at the casino here in Melbourne, and that's, like, right around the corner. And I used to hear that people who would work at the casino, when they finish their shift, would go there and spend their wage on prostitutes. So it's like, I can't do this shit in a video game, but it's legal. You know, prostitution is legal. And one thing that baffles my mind as well a lot is that it only seems to be in video games is stuff like this heavily censored, because in other mediums it's not. And I'm right here, and I'm gonna give you some examples. One big example, and one of the ones that I saw someone already point out, and I was just like, that is 100% true, is Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones up until the last season. Second last season, I don't mind. A lot of people hate it, but I didn't mind it that much. Last season is completely fucking trash. First 6 seasons, fucking amazing. Some of the best television you've ever seen, and some of the most, like, uncomfortable scenes ever. What happens in the first episode? You see Jaime Lannister and his sister Cersei banging it. That's right, brother and sister going at it, fucking. You later find out that all of Cersei's children are actually Jaime's. Jaime is the father. That's right. Not her husband, who's the king. No, he is the father. Her own brother is the father. And I forgot about this scene completely, but what's one of the most disturbing scenes in Game of Thrones? Well, after Joffrey dies, Jaime sexually assaults Cersei right next to the body of Joffrey. He just sexually assaults her right fucking then and there. And you can go and watch Game of Thrones. Another one that is like, that I didn't know about, like I said, I searched up like a few like uncomfortable scenes in some TV shows. There's this show called Reign. I don't know what the fuck this show's about, but to me it looks like some old like Kings and Queens kind of show, something that would probably bore me and make me fall asleep. It's got Scotland in the background, France. I'm guessing it's all like England and royals and all that kind of bullshit. But there is an episode called Acts of War where there is a sexual assault that happens. And guess what? You can go and watch that scene. You can go watch the entire series. What's another one? One that's very, very popular. A show that like when this show came out, everyone fucking watched it back in the day. 13 Reasons Why. Obviously, no one fucking watched anything past season 1, but in season 1, there are so many uncomfortable scenes. There are sexual assault scenes, and there are unalive scenes in this series. And none of them, you can go ahead and you can go and fucking watch all of them. You could go and watch them. There's a movie from 1976 with Marlon Brando called Last Tango in Paris where there is a sexual assault scene, and you can go and fucking rent that movie on you. I could go and rent that movie on YouTube, but I can't play a fucking video game that is literally just pictures. You can't even see anything. It literally just like... It just implies that something happened. You can't literally watch it happen. I don't sit there and all of a sudden I see Leyley get bent over on the bed and Andy just like ramming her ham from behind. That's not what happens in this fucking scene. It literally just implies it where they wake up in bed with no clothes on, but the blanket is covering them. How about you go and fucking do your own research on the game? I think that the people who are like censoring all this stuff in Australia, obviously it's the Australian government. Like, are we surprised that it's the government that's obviously doing this? Of course, the government controls what we watch and like what's censored. But the actual company itself is the Australian Communications and Media Authority. That's the company itself that is the ones that like control all of our censorships. And I think that it is absolutely fine when it comes to ratings. Ratings are 100% there for a reason. You know, I think that ratings are a good thing, you know, that companies or the government needs to be there to rate certain things, because there shouldn't be a kid, you know, go and play like Andy and Leyley. I definitely think that someone who's like 13 years old shouldn't. I definitely don't think the game should be MA 15+. And if they wanted to go smack an R18+ rating on that, that's 100% fine. When it comes to like movies and they have to put an R18+ on that, so kids don't go watch it, I think that's 100% fine. Ratings on video games, movies, TV shows should be there for 100% reason. But I think that completely getting rid of something or censoring something altogether is fucking ridiculous. We as human beings should be allowed to make the decision of what we want to watch, not have the government or a company decide for us of what gets banned and what's not. Now, I definitely think that there is some exceptions to this when it comes to things that are just straight hate crimes. Like, say if someone goes ahead, makes a game, and it's literally just a straight hate crime where you were going out and say, you know, I don't know, the game is about you being, like, you just being completely racist and killing people of a different race because you don't like them for no, like, you just don't like them. That's it. I think that if they want to go ban a game like that, that's 100% fine. But, like, if they are banning games because, or, like, censoring scenes completely because of sexual reasons, like, we should be the ones to decide whether I want to go watch it. And if you don't like that, if you're on Twitter and you're like, this game's disgusting, I can't believe something, just don't play it. Just don't play it. You don't have to play the game. That's it. You're literally forcing yourself into this. You're putting yourself into wanting to like care about something that has nothing to be involved with. And like I don't know if I said this already, I probably have, but the Coffin of Andy and Leyley has got overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. I would definitely think that it's got to do with like, you know, a lot of the there's backlash on Twitter of people hating the game. So people who like, you know, actual gamers went and like gave it a review to like kind of bump it up. But at the same time, like I watched the whole playthrough. I watched Asmongold play from start to finish to the whole game. It's actually a good game. Like I said, it's actually good. You know what? It actually deserves the positive reviews that it's got. It's not just because, you know, people are trying to, you know, bump it up to give, like, you know, the developer, you know, kind of outweigh all, like, the hate that they were getting on Twitter. But at the same time, it actually deserves it because it's actually a good game. And here in Australia, it shouldn't be censored. I'm sorry, but my fucking government should go ahead and just get rid of a game because it has, like, a couple uncomfortable scenes that really aren't that bad if you actually play through the game. I don't even reckon that the people who censored this game, people who are involved in censoring video games, I don't even think they played it. I don't even think that they actually played through the game properly or actually, like, you know, understood the game in any way possible. To me, they're just a whole load of boomers that just don't understand video games, don't like video games, don't like this type of medium, because those are the people who would go ahead and censor this. That's why we have had so many different censorship problems here in Australia when it comes to video games, because there is no doubt in my mind that a lot of these people who are doing this are just a whole load of fucking boomers who don't like video games. So any type of small reason that they get to ban a video game, they will fucking take that advantage. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm not. But let me know what you guys think about this down below. I'd really like to hear your opinion or what you think about, like, this game getting censored, censorship in general, especially how shit it is here in Australia, and how, like, I think it's just extremely biased when it comes to video games compared to other types of media as well. But yeah, that's it from me. Peace out.